We have a major update on the Knicks trade plans. According to the latest reports, the Knicks are one of the contending teams interested in making a trade for Raptors forward Chris Boucher. We're going to break down exactly what his current trade value is. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are expressing trade interest in Raptors power forward Chris Boucher. One thing is clear about Leon Rose. He will always make the right move to improve this roster. And it doesn't matter what this Knicks franchise has going on with any other team in the league. Business is business. That's how he was able to pull off the OG Anunoby trade. At the time, the Knicks were actively suing the Raptors, but that didn't matter because the Knicks wanted OG Anunoby and Leon Rose took care of business. With Mikal Bridges, the Knicks and the Nets never do business, but because Leon Rose saw an opportunity, he was able to get a deal done. The Knicks understand right now they need more size on this team. I know that, Leon Rose knows that, and this entire franchise knows that. And that's exactly why recent reports are indicating that the Knicks are currently interested in making a trade for Raptors power forward Chris Boucher. Let's break down these following reports from NBA insider Michael Scotto. According to Scotto, with the Toronto Raptors at the bottom of the standings and a projected seller by the trade deadline, executives around the league are keeping tabs on Bruce Brown and Chris Boucher, who are in the final year of their contracts, as well as stretch 5 Kelly Olynyk. Scotto continues here by stating, the Nuggets, along with the Los Angeles Clippers, the New York Knicks, and other teams have also expressed trade interest in Chris Boucher. The 32-year-old forward is in the final year of his contract, worth $10.8 million, and he's averaged 10.7 points in only 17.5 minutes, while shooting 37% from three. Furthermore, some playoff caliber teams are looking to fortify their front court depth and have circled the wagon on Toronto to see if the Raptors would be willing to part with Kelly Olynyk or any one of their other players that we just mentioned. Power forward / center, Chris Boucher. 6'9", Chris Boucher. He just turned 32 years old, has played a number of years in this game. So clearly, if he was on this team, Tom Thibodeau would value him. Why? Because he values his veterans. He plays his veterans. He plays his veterans significant minutes because he has trust in them. And if we had Boucher on this team, given the way he can shoot the ball, the way he can rebound the ball, his defense inside, and how well he can be in terms of his defense and how well he can improve on that end of the floor under head coach Tom Thibodeau, this is a move that if I'm the Knicks, I am making every single day of the week because it helps New York now and in the future when we get to the postseason. And here's the best part. If it doesn't work out, he's an expiring. You can waive him at the end of the season. And then in the offseason, go out there and get another player you want to add to this team. Or if it does work out, and in my opinion, it will work out. And if it does, the Knicks can go ahead and they can re-sign him at the end of the season as well, too. They can put together a very enticing package to make sure he stays with this team. We got to remember, we are the New York Knicks, a contending team right now. And if we're adding the right players, it only helps our championship push. Other players know that as well, too. And not for nothing, does he have experience playing with OG Anunoby, playing with Precious Achiuwa? Because I would think he absolutely does. He remembers what it feels like playing with those two and having that level of experience. It's only going to help him as part of this team. If the Knicks can swing this trade and make it happen, I would want them to pull off this move. Because at 6'9", being a forward / center combination, what he can give to this Knicks team, if out there, under head coach Tom Thibodeau, it's a no-brainer. If you can add him to this roster, you do it. Not to mention, he can also move without the ball extremely well. But the only question is, if the Knicks are going to have to go after him and they want to add him to this team, what is his trade value right now? We know what he makes in terms of his contract, $10.8 million. So clearly, if the Knicks want to trade for him, they're going to have to match that salary. But apart from the salary, are they going to have to include any draft compensation? And if they do, what's the draft picks looking like? Well, shout out to Michael Grange of Sportsnet for giving us the following information on exactly what the Raptors are looking for in terms of a trade for Chris Boucher. According to Grange, each of Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, Chris Boucher, and Mitchell are valued with second-round picks of varying quality, but they have at least shown that they are healthy and rounding into form, with all of the veterans popping off for strong performances in the last couple of weeks. So in terms of draft picks, we're absolutely golden there. We have all the second-round picks that we need to pull off any of these trades. The only issue here with Boucher is the amount of money that he makes on his final year, $10.8 million. We got to remember, given where the Knicks are in terms of the second apron, they are hard capped. That means in terms of a trade, they have to match it dollar for dollar. That's going to be very difficult because let's say they want to trade Mitchell Robinson. That doesn't even match. They're going to have to take back more players, which, by the way, it's going to be very difficult for them to do. So we have to think about that as well, too. And they can go the other way where they can include Achua, but if they do that, they're also going to have to include other players to add to that deal. Other players that New York likely does not want to get rid of. So that's the main issue that New York finds itself in right now. Chris Boucher is the perfect player to add to this team. He gives New York size. He gives New York shooting. He gives you another presence inside. He can play with Karl Anthony Towns. He can play with the bench unit. Given the fact that he's 32 years old, he's put in a number of years in this game. Tom Thibodeau is going to trust him because he's a vet in this league. So everything is looking like a positive if he joins this roster. The only thing, again, is how the Knicks are going to make the money work. Are they going to send out more money and try to get more players back? Or are they going to try to match the money by sending out more players and only getting one player back? And then maybe looking at the buyout market or Westchester trying to fill in the gaps. Either way, the Knicks have to make a decision. But it's clear they currently have trade interest in Raptors power forward Chris Boucher. Now, we already mentioned he does fit this roster. That's one main reason the Knicks have interest in him. But another reason, they could be putting pressure on another team they're looking to trade with. And maybe that team does not want to budge and give the Knicks a player they really want. And if that's the case, they might be showing them, hey, listen, you don't want to trade me that player? I can go elsewhere, look at other players, and maybe get them on my team. Boucher is one of those players. And if you know Leon Rose, he is very, very clever, very tricky, and he's a problem to deal with. And if you think you know what he's thinking about, you know the deal he's about to make, you already made a miscalculation. Because if you think you know what he's going to do, he is going to go left so fast, you're never going to see it coming. But the best thing about Leon Rose is he is always working the phones. He is always looking to make another move to improve this team. He has done it basically every single trade deadline that he has been president of the Knicks. So I anticipate him doing the exact same thing this year as well, too. The only question is, what player is he going to target to add to this team? We've heard a number of players linked to New York, but one player that we haven't heard is Chris Boucher. Maybe a couple of seasons ago, maybe last season, but I haven't heard that name recently. Not from a legit source until right now. I am perfectly fine with the Knicks making this move. The only question is, how are they going to make this move? How are they going to pull it off? What players are they going to get back in that type of deal if they're looking to make that trade? I like the Knicks looking around the league. I like the Knicks exploring their trade options because at this point, you have to understand who's available, who you have on your roster, and what's to come in the future. And the Knicks continuously looking at the trade market tells me that they know a trade is coming. Whether it's a lower level trade or a major trade, a move is coming. And who that player they're going to be targeting is, it's anybody's guess. But if they can get Chris Boucher, that will be a move that, number one, I didn't expect, but it's a move that will help us now and in the postseason. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following reports indicating that the Raptors are looking to be sellers and looking to trade a number of players? And if they're looking to trade Chris Boucher, the Nuggets, the Clippers, and the Knicks, among other teams, are looking to trade for him. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.